Hey, what's up? On our play for this week, we have the top 5 announcements. We have our top 5 announcements from this year's Game Awards, the 2023 Game Awards. Why the day before was released at the perfect time of the year? Has Epic snuck in NFTs into Fortnite? We'll talk about that in all of this on this episode. I just, we'll go with it. All this and more on this episode of Press X Start Gamers Digest. It's episode 48, by the way. Hey, look, man, I had like a 5-hour car ride. Like, it's been a whole thing,
Mm,
but we're here right now.
dedicated to
Doing
the
this.
cause.
Exactly. Oh, all right.
Oh wow.
What's up, everyone? I'm your host, DJ, aka Sexy Batteries. I just choked on my own AKA. What's happening here? It's like almost I'm kind of different. I'm
Wow.
actually 1/16th German different. So yeah, I just found out that I'm like 1/16 German this weekend, and I'm just completely turned around. Sean, save me. Who are you?
I am a man that also never misses an episode. I am Sean MF Ross.
What does that beautiful M and F stand for?
Uh, hmm. I'm gonna leave that alone. Nothing this week. Nothing this week.
Side note, before we jump into the podcast, I have been mainlining Blue Eyed Samurai on Netflix.
Sounds
Go
like
watch
you
it if
are.
you haven't watched it. It is, it's so good. It's so good. We don't have an anime podcast. Is that considered anime? I don't know if that's considered anime.
Allegedly,
Yeah,
call
right?
all the things.
American anime, maybe? I don't know whatever you call that. But it's good. Go watch it if you haven't watched it. If you like anything samurai, you'll love that. You'll love that show. So just go do that.
I mean,
All
why
right.
y'all on Netflix? I mean, you might as well just go watch One Piece. I mean, just
Right? Yeah. Right. Well, maybe watch Blue Eyes Samurai first and then jump into the beast that is One Piece, because you're gonna be there for much longer than you will for Samurai, Blue Eyes Samurai. All right. Back to the gamings. Press X to Start Gamers Digest is a video podcast that gets the most important gaming news from this past week into an hour-long meal just for you. We are live on YouTube every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hello, YouTube. You good? Good. Don't forget, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. We need you to do those 3 things, because if you do those 3 things, then you'll be helping us with those 3 things. So thank you. After you do that, jump onto your Spotify or your Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast service you use, listen to the podcast, and leave us a review. Do it. Thank you. And if you are listening to this and not watching, just do that first part. Yeah. Just hey, look, just support our content, please. We need the help. Every vote counts. And your vote is hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel, hitting the notification bell, and leaving us a review. It's a bunch of votes you can do. All right. Oh, yes. If you want to join the conversation, you can by joining Discord at pressxandreducer.com/Discord. We're going to get through this podcast, guys. We're going to get through this. All right. Now that is out the way, let us jump into the gaming news. Yeah. All right. So yes, as you know, the Game Awards just happened. Not just happened. It happened a couple days ago. Jeff Keighley packed 3 hours of announcements plus awards, and it was pretty good. At least I think so. Sean, how did you like the Game
of all the award shows I've ever seen, this was one of them.
Awards? You nailed it. Yes, absolutely.
Hmm.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I think overall this was I actually think this was one of the stronger stronger game awards, just
Yeah.
because I think, you have the award section and you have the announcements, right? And everyone everyone comes for the announcement, stays for the awards, I guess, is how you can kind of look at it. But, whether or not you like the show is probably going to depend more on the announcements versus the awards, because
Yeah.
the awards is kind of set in stone. It's just going to be like whoever wins. But the announcements are like, oh my God, this new game is coming up. Like, oh, this is so cool. So I think this year, Jeff had, I don't know the exact number, but he had a whole lot of announcements happening. We're going to talk about our top 5 announcements. But I think before we do that, do you have a rating for this show? Like out of 10, what would you give?
I give it about a 7.
A 7? Okay.
Yeah, like I
I'm
mean, I know this isn't Summer Games E3 announcements. I mean, but they
mhm.
still treat it as such with minor announcements coming for the coming year. So about a 7.
Yeah. Okay. I'm a little higher. I'm actually around an 8 because I think a lot of the announcements really did appeal to me.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some like actual moments of just me being like, what am I watching? This is so interesting. This is so cool. Yeah. And then even the Kojima thing, like he knows how to make like how to have stage presence, and anytime he gets on stage and it's his go to show something, it's usually a cool thing. So we're going to talk about our favorite announcements, and I'm going to go first with these are in no particular order. I'm just going to start with number 1, Marvel's Blade. So this caught me off guard. Actually, the Marvel sign didn't catch me off guard. I thought, oh, maybe we might be seeing like Wolverine or something. The
Yeah.
Bethesda sign that caught me off guard. I was like, wait. And then it was Arcane. It's like the people that made Dishonor is making a Marvel game, and then we're presented with this like setting of a barber shop. I'm like, oh, wait, black people? Like what? I was like, what's happening here? And then at first I was like, is this a weird like Black Panther thing? Mind you, I missed all the crosses, and there was a whole
Yeah.
ton of crosses happening. And it didn't occur to me that this was actually Blade until the I think it was until the actual Fang. Like when he showed his Fang, I was just like,
Yeah.
oh, it's Blade.
I'm a
I,
little
I was
bit.
completely just I missed all the other hints. But man, I was so excited to see this. Like I think like I ended up watching this trailer a boatload more times because you have to, right? And again, you see all the other references to like vampires. You see the cross. You
Yeah.
see a bunch of other stuff. This is taking place in France, some point or someplace in France.
Mm.
Arcane is a France studio, so kind of makes sense. They're just kind of doing something in their backyard in a way. But I think this is I got a freaking ad about that. I think this is going to be like really, really, really cool, and I am looking forward to this.
I'll try it. I'll pay him a little $16 to play Game Pass for a month. I'm curious.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I caught myself because I'm excited for this game, but I also have to be I have, I have to be cautious about this. We don't know. This is a Bethesda game. This is an Arcane game. There was no like Xbox Game Pass, no kind of Xbox exclusivity that was mentioned. Although
Right.
there are rumors that it actually might be Xbox exclusive, but I'm not necessarily I'll believe when I see it, I guess, because Xbox showed another game and that had Game Pass on it, had Xbox Studios on it. Like it was very much clear that this was a Xbox exclusive game. So we didn't see it here, and I'm kind of like, oh, maybe this won't be an exclusive. My hesitation though is that Arcane makes Dishonor, which is a immersive first person shooter stealth game or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we have Deathloop, which is also a first person shooter immersive sim, I think is what they call it. This Blade game is going to be a third person, probably hack and slash shooter, right? So
Yeah.
can they make that? I believe so. But I also don't think Marvel themselves want to take another L. And I think it's really interesting that they picked Arcane to make this game when the last Arcane game was Redfall, and that was, for a
Also
lack of
about
better words,
vampires.
also about vampires, but like that was just a clusterfuck of a game. So it's just like, is this really the best move for Marvel to make
So
with
allegedly it
Arcane?
will be Xbox exclusive. It will be available on Game Pass day one, and it's gonna be third
Okay.
person.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So like, I don't know. I'm excited about this game. I'm interested to see more about this game. I
Hmm.
don't have Game Pass right now. Could this game get me to get Game Pass? I think if it's good enough, yeah, for sure. I can, I'll try it on whatever Game Pass enabled things I have around me, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Um, the next game is there it is. Boom. The next game, a little game called Monster Hunter, not Worlds 2, Monster Hunter Wilds. So this trailer, I think it was a really, really cool and interesting trailer to show a feature of the game that didn't fit for the last thing of the Game Awards.
Hmm.
So, like, this trailer is showing like the dynamic weather that can happen, I guess, while you're playing the game.
Yeah.
It also shows like herds, like basically just denser monster populations in this game than the past Monster Hunter game. There's a lot of little things in here that people who played Monster Hunter or who like really paid attention to that game like will notice,
Hmm.
but I don't think this trailer really does a good job to excite people who aren't that familiar with the game or who aren't really familiar or really care about Monster Hunter that much to get them into this. But like there's a lot of cool stuff happening here, especially the lightning and weather pattern stuff. Like that stuff is cool. But I just I'm excited for this game. I want to see more of it, but we'll see. We'll see. Um,
I'm looking. It doesn't look like they've done. It looks like they stopped doing like numbered releases after 4. So, I mean, you had
yeah.
Monster Hunter Rise, Monster Hunter World. You had Monster Hunter 4? That was back in 2013. So,
Mhm.
uh, mm,
I mean, I can get why they probably stopped the number because they probably have the same like the Final Fantasy issue where it's just like, oh, this is Final Fantasy 16. Do I need to play the other
yeah.
15 games of this to play this? And it's like, no, no, they're all kind of reboot, restarts. Yeah. Um, the next game is purely, purely for me. I I feel like Jeff Keighley was like, hey, that Donald guy, he's pretty cool. This is for him. It's Mecha Break. This this looks like I don't know who
Was that a
developed this
joint that
game.
looked like it had a Gundam in it?
Yeah. So okay. So here's the thing, right? Everyone's like, because I even someone commented said, oh, this is like Gundam. This is a better Gundam game than whatever Gundam
Oof.
games have released, and it's like this is this is literally Armor Core. Like this game is literally copy paste Armor Core. Like I think people look at the laser sword, look at the laser blast, and think like, oh, okay, this is Gundam, but like, no, this is Armor Core, guys.
All I
And
know is there's an injustice being had that DJ gets to eat twice this
so
year,
much, so much.
about 2 or 3 times.
Oh my god, I'm full, guys. But like, they keep serving me food. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna eat
This
it.
is
Like,
I'm going to label this haberdashery for all my UK brethrens.
so yeah,
Complete.
like this game looks crazy. My issue is that
Mhm.
the looking of this game is where it stops. Like it doesn't play as good as Armor Core. And I think that is where I get scared that this can be a game that basically is built for Game Awards.
You still
And you
going
get
up
the
to 30
game.
draws, whatever, man.
So yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm pleasantly excited for that. So the next game I have on my list is wait a minute, there we go. Tales of what? Zenera?
Kenzera.
Zenera? Yeah.
Kenzera.
And then Tales of Zenera.
Kenzera.
Is it a K? Oh,
Yes.
it's definitely a K.
You literally put it there, DJ.
Hey, look, okay. I'm still a little jet lagged from the drive, okay? um
Oh, okay. That was the We got
I
Black Panther at home, Joe.
Yes, basically, I swore this was going to be the Black Panther announcement. I swore on my own life that this was going to be a Black Panther announcement, and it was not. But I was pleasantly surprised with this. I like this to me is like the black version or the African version of the Prince of Persia side scroller thing that's coming out in like
Yeah.
January, February. I was like, okay, this is cool. And like it looks really, really cool. So I'm just like, hey, this works. So I'm definitely gonna be paying more attention to this when they show more stuff of this or whenever it comes out. So yeah, yeah. Um, my next and final. This is final, but there was a bunch of other games. Even Sean has a couple of games on his list that I thought was
Yeah.
really cool as well. So this is just a combination. But yeah, the next thing is the God of War Ragnarok Valhalla announcement. Um, so this was cool. Because I think when God of War ended, we were making bets, not making bets, but like really
Yeah.
talking about what we can see next, like what is the possibility of future content for this game. None of us guessed a roguelike. Um, I think if The Last of Us 2 roguelike came out a lot sooner, be like, oh, maybe they might do something like this, and turns out this is exactly what they're doing. This is gonna come out literally before this episode release. So it's like, hey, we'll all
Crazy
be
good.
playing this. Right. Are you actually gonna jump into this?
Of course.
Okay. All right.
So sliding into my top five, y'all know I love roguelikes. I can't say Binding of Isaac was my first, but that really got me to paying attention to more roguelikes. So
Oh yeah.
um it looks like God of War Valhalla is the free DLC that comes out on the 12th, I believe. And
Yeah.
I think it's gonna address some more stories, so I'm loving that. And I guess you get to finally have something to do with all this end game gear that you got at God of War versus just doing a whole ass new game plus.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's
Like
boring
that.
to people. Yeah.
Yeah, like that was my issue. Like I got all the way up to end of God of War. I was like, well, I guess the only thing I can do is like New
Play
Game
it again.
Plus. Yeah, right. And it's just like, all right. But
because
yeah, like
because these modern games are getting bigger and better, they're also getting longer, and sometimes you just don't hit the same. It's not like
yeah.
I'm gonna be old here for a minute, but I mean it's not like playing older games. I don't
Mm.
know. They just don't hit the same. But I'm gonna play it. Are you gonna try it?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Probably gonna be
Like
trash at it.
I'm actually really excited for this to come out because I hey, God of War was my game of the year last year. Like Elden Ring came out, Elden Ring was
Yeah.
cool, but I don't think the combat in Elden Ring is anywhere close to the combat of God of War. A lot of people don't have that opinion, but
Yeah,
whatever.
I was about to say that. Yeah, it's gonna be arguable, but I hear you.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm
Um,
definitely in for this.
my second top announcement, I would say, was probably Rise of the Ronin.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I don't even remember too much about it, but I remember enjoying what I saw. I thought this was gonna be the next what the hell you call it, Ghost of Tsushima, but I guess we have to wait
Hmm.
to see that.
I got a
But
trailer, but there's a commercial right now that's
yeah,
doing a thing.
yeah, but no. I think this comes out in March, so we'll be seeing this very soon. What's that? 3-4 months out. Um, because I can't think of any other big games other than Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, and Final Fantasy Rebirth. So
Okay, well the trailer's not working for some weird reason.
it'd be
But
like
yeah,
that.
okay. Yeah, so yeah, Rise of Ronin, I also am interested in. Like when we first saw the trailer, I think last year, it was like, oh, this is a really cool samurai game.
Yeah.
As you were saying, like, oh, this kind of feels like Ghost of Tsushima, but I think with this coming out this year, we're definitely not going to see anything Ghost until
Oh, my man got the
next
strap in
year.
this game. Okay, and a flaming sword. Yeah, I can't wait to get
Yeah.
that. That's yeah.
So yeah, so I think it's Rise of the Ronin is doing a good job of separating itself from Ghost of Tsushima from having guns in this game, and it's just like
And
you're in
flaming
that
swords.
period. Yeah. Well, you do Flaming Swords and Ghost of Tsushima too.
Well, I mean, this man got wings as well, so I mean, like, this
Oh,
is
yes, yeah. So like, I think the period
Ubisoft
of
is
Rise
punching
of
the air right
Ronin.
now.
Say what? Oh
So
yeah, yeah. I
Ubisoft,
think the period in Rise of Ronin is like at the end of the Edo period of in
yeah, because
Japan,
all
I
of our
think.
listeners know when that period was.
Hey man, they should. Okay, they should. It's common U.S. history.
You know when the Edo period was.
It's
Let me
common
spice some
Toonami
shit up, man.
history.
After that, I would say OD with Hideo Kojima and Jordan Peele.
Mhm,
That was a complete surprise to see Hideo come out and announce. At first, I thought it was gonna be Death Stranding 2.
mhm.
I was like, all right, this is OD, and then Jordan Peele steps out. I'm like, oh man, there isn't anything he has put out so far that I can't say I've disliked like that. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what this is. I know you're not gonna touch it, but I like horror games.
No,
Quit being a bitch and come on.
no.
Well,
Hey man, I
but
got bitch tattooed on the back of my
oh
chest.
wow.
Right, back of my chest.
But
Yeah,
when are we getting this? I don't think any type of.
yeah, yeah. I don't think we're getting this year. I think this might be a next year game because I feel like
Oh, I don't. I
Xbox is.
don't doubt that it's not coming out.
Oh, okay.
2023, probably like a 2024, 2025 game. We'll see.
Yeah,
But I'm interested to see what that will be.
yeah.
Um,
So actually, apparently, the whole like that whole thing is like CG. Like it's not human people.
oh,
So apparently,
as
yeah. So
opposed
apparently
to
they were show.
non-human people.
Ah, yeah, yeah, the aliens. You know what I mean? But so like even that scream is like computer generated or whatever. Like
Interesting.
I don't know
It must be
what
using
exactly
Unreal 6.
exactly, right?
Shit
So
like
like that last girl,
mm,
when she screams, she screams because if you see in her eye, there is the silhouette of a door opening. So it's like whoever's in the door opens and like I guess gets her or whatever because she I guess maybe because she failed whatever test they're doing.
yeah.
But like the apparently it looks like the same door that Kojima came out of for the announcement, and apparently that looks like the same door from the PT trailer that
Yeah.
he did, or the PT experience or whatever that was with Norman Reedus. So it's like, is this all connected? Like, what's happening here? But of course, it's Kojima, so of course he's gonna connect everything he could because we're all about connections or whatever he said a couple of years ago. So yeah, that looks exciting for you, Sean. I am happy for you when you play that game because I will
I'll
not be playing
stream it
that
just for
game.
you.
I'll
Um,
watch it. Oh, also,
second,
side note about OD. We actually saw um there was leak footage of that game, I think, last year.
I never watched
And
it.
it was yeah, it was confusing because it looked like it was confusing. You can go find more stuff about it, whatever. Yeah, go ahead, John.
Um, Second to last, Twisted Metal season 2.
Mhm.
If you're a Twisted Metal fan, you watch the show. It was pretty awesome. It's not highbrow cinema, but if you're playing Twisted Metal, you already know what it is. It delivered on what it was supposed to be.
Right.
Um, and then lastly, Sega just coming out of left field. What the hell did they announce? Jet Set Radio coming back, Shinobi, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, and Crazy Taxi. That shit is bonkers. I'm 8 years old all over again, or 12. What just goddamn Sega. Come
Yes.
on back.
I'm gonna play that trailer because I think
That
I
was
also had a big pop because I never played Crazy Taxi. I watched Crazy Taxi and I thought,
mm,
oh, this was cool. I just never had the opportunity to really play it. I forget where I like saw it. I think one of my friends was playing it a lot.
yeah.
But
It used
like
to be
for
in the
me,
arcades as well.
yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. But for me, it was the Jet Grind Radio, Jet Set or Jet Set Radio. I think it's Jet Set Radio.
It was
Like,
Jet Set Radio in Japan, then it was Jet
mhm,
Grind Radio over in the US, and
right,
then Jet Set Radio Future when it came to Xbox, which I did not play.
nailed it.
But
So yeah,
I probably will play all of these.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. So this is a trailer. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
this.
So the question now though is like,
and more. It says and more on that
yeah.
trailer. So I'm just excited to see what else they bring out.
So is this the super game that Sega was talking about? Like, is there an actual super game that is like, this is just, hey, look, we're working on these things. Then it's like, also, we're working on this big game thing. But like, I feel like we would have probably got that at the Game Awards. Instead, we got this. So it's like, is this what that is supposed to be? I
Yeah,
don't know. Will we get these answers? Don't know. But yeah, I'm also
we'll see.
excited for this. I think this was a cool trailer. I think this was a very fun trailer, especially for the Game Awards.
Mm.
So, yeah.
And then lastly, Jeff Keighley saying thanks, nigga. That was just way out of left field. Can't believe he had the balls to do that. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think it was because of how the name
What
it
was his name? What was his
um
actual name?
because I'm trying to think, like, I'm still playing the Sega trailer because I'm just gonna play this out. That's how it's gonna
Yeah.
be. But we're gonna talk about Jeff Keighley and for some reason becoming black all of a sudden. Um the guy, he did a kick on screen. We saw him last year because did he worked on another game. But yeah, okay.
I don't remember which one it was. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, but yes, so far there hasn't been an apology from Jeff. I think he's just kind of taking it by stride, and he's just gonna pretend like it didn't happen.
I don't think he really said that, but goddamn, if it didn't sound close to it. I was like, wait a minute. You just gonna slide that past us?
It was perfectly timed though. It was perfectly timed. All right. So okay, let's jump into the actual news articles that happened to jump out around the Game Awards. So this first one comes from Destructoid. Cyberpunk 2077 winning a Best Ongoing Games award feels incredibly off. This comes to us by way of Jonathan Lochaito. I think that's right.
I'm lucky to have it.
Um, so yes, as the title of this article suggests, Cyberpunk 2077 winning Best Ongoing Game of the Game Awards is kind of weird.
Yep.
So, as some may remember, Cyberpunk 2077 is not an ongoing game. It's a single player game and one that was released with disastrous initial results. The launch was so awash with issues that Sony even quickly removed it from the PSN digital storefront. CD Projekt Red will go on to spend a better part of 3 years fixing that game. As of 2023, the team has produced praiseworthy results with Cyberpunk 2077's 2.0 update, but the VGA nomination logic seems flawed. So, the single player Cyberpunk 2077 is an ongoing game because it was released so broken it needed years of work to function as intended. I'm not buying it. And you know what? I'm not either. I don't think Cyberpunk deserves the best ongoing award.
Maybe
Like,
most improved, but not ongoing game.
yeah, like they could have won the best community support award because essentially that's what they're doing. They're providing community support by continuously patching and upgrading their game to make it one playable and two better than what they initially envisioned. So it's just like for them to win ongoing award does feel off. It does feel like we're handing them a bone because they fixed their game that a lot of people was excited for. And it's like, well, why are we why is that the move we make for this award versus actually supporting or awarding a game that actually is doing well in the ongoing category? So it's just like, what's happening here? But again, I think it is one of those things where it's not really Jeff's fault because he's not putting up the nominations
Who is
for or the
that?
nominees.
I
It's
mean,
the
I don't
people
think
who
he
are
should be
voting.
solely. I don't think he should be solely in charge of it, but who is in charge of voting and nominating?
Yeah.
Because if that's the case, No Man's Sky should be in the running, and they have had way more improvements to the game than Cyberpunk
Yeah.
2077.
And like No Man's Sky has won in the past, but it's a different thing because No Man's Sky launched borked, but it didn't launch like completely wrecked like Cyberpunk did.
No Man's Sky didn't launch broken. It was a complete game. It was just ass, and people were disappointed with it. Cyberpunk was just
Actually
it
broke.
barely ran. Yeah, like
Yeah,
nah,
yeah.
that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, yeah. I totally agree. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, yes, Jeff Keighley, like this is his show. At the same time, yes, there are people who are voting for these games to be part of the nominations for the different
Yeah,
categories, but like at the end of the day, he can say, no, this doesn't apply because this game is not an ongoing game. This game is a single player game. So like, no, we're not gonna put that there. But yeah, I can also see him not wanting to rock that boat because he's worrying about like 48 other things that's going to be
yeah.
happening in his award show. But still, it doesn't feel right. All right, the next thing, Baldur's Gate 3 boss apologizes for forgetting to announce Xbox release. This comes from True Achievements by way of no, that's not that. By way of Tom West. Okay. So essentially, as the title suggests, the the man, the Larian CEO who was sitting in armor for 3 hours to get up to receive his award,
That man,
just
wild.
happened to forget that that Baldur's Gate 3 is also coming to Xbox today. So that's kind of why there was an Xbox tweet that says,
Oh yeah. By
right,
the way,
right. No, I mean, the thing is, like, the tweet is weird because it says Xbox players, it's party. Oh no, actually, that's his tweet. But the Xbox tweet is like it's party time or whatever, and
yeah,
it's kind of confusing because there was supposed to be text or there was supposed to be stuff said before the it's party time.
yeah,
So Xbox is just kind of sitting there with their dick in their hand, and so it sucks. But he came out, he apologized.
yeah. He
Shout
said
out to
he
the
had one
Xbox.
job, and that was to announce this if we won an award. I think he may have just been a little out of it because they were kind of rushing people off stage this year. So what are you
Yeah,
gonna do?
absolutely. Like he's wearing armor. He's been wearing armor for 3 hours. He wins the Game of the Year award. Yeah, he's gonna be a little flustered. I get it. I get it. Like there shouldn't be any like no one should be yelling at this man. Like y'all gonna get y'all game. Y'all got y'all game. Like it's okay. All right. And props to Baldur's Gate 3 for winning Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Um, Next thing, Xbox quietly won the Game Awards with the PlayStation coming up short. This comes from Forbes by way of Paul Tassi. So this is an interesting,
Paul Tassi be on some bullshit, but go ahead.
yeah. So this is an opinion piece that I want to talk about because the way that he phrases this, I understand where he's coming from, but I don't necessarily agree. I don't think, yeah, I just don't agree. So in the award category, Xbox won 3 awards. Hi-Fi
Mhm.
Rush won an award, and Forza won like 2 awards. PlayStation won, I believe, like 5 awards or something like that, and that's like Honkai Star Rail, Final Fantasy 16, and a couple other games. And so basically, Paul Tassi is leaning on more so the announcements that was
Yeah.
made. So he's basically saying had like, we got a really good look at Hellblade 2, which we did, and that looks really cool. I I don't know what people gonna be doing in that game, but it looks cool. And then we have the Kojima's OD project, which we talked about, and that looks really cool, and that is an Xbox exclusive. So like that's definitely one in the win category, along as well as Hellblade 2. They're both
Yeah.
like a solid like one win in the win category, whatever. Um, then we have the Marvel Blade game, which this is contested because he says that everyone's expecting that game to be exclusive, and there's insiders say that it is. So if it is exclusive, that's definitely a win. Although, as I said earlier, I'm a little cautious about this because this is a third-person hack and slash game, most likely, and Arcane makes great first-person games. But just because you make one type of game doesn't mean you can make all types of games. So, you just gotta have to, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last thing he brings up is Baldur's Gate 3 is launching on Xbox. So with this, I don't necessarily feel like this is a giant win for Xbox at the Game Awards. I think the Baldur's Gate 3 thing, you can kind of just cancel that out because it launched first on the PlayStation. So the PS5 people already got to play and beat that game. I think the Marvel Blade thing is cool, but again, got to be cautious about that because we don't know exactly how the game is going to turn out. We can't necessarily just skip Redfall and think about Dishonored. Like that studio made one of the worst games of this year as well. So like, yeah. And then the Kojima thing is dope, and the Hellblade 2 thing is dope. And it's just like, all right, you take those two things. PlayStation had God of War, had Rise of Ronin, had. Am I forgetting? Actually, I think those two.
Yeah.
I think those two actually might be the two exclusive things, and I think. Well, I mean, damn, if you look at it that way, yeah, I guess Xbox, just because of Kojima, but it, like Kojima has Death Stranding, whatever. Okay, whatever. This is opinion piece, and it's just like, all right, that's his opinion. I don't necessarily think of that. I think it's more even. I think both sides did a very good job of showing stuff at the Game Awards this year. So yeah, they can both pat themselves on the backs or each other's backs or whatever they want to do. And then the last thing for the Game Awards, game actors and devs protest outside the Game Awards. This comes from theGamer by way of Rhiannon Bevan. Rhiannon? Yeah, that's an interesting first name. So it's kind of the title kind of states what's happening. So game developers and actors protested outside the Game Awards last night, calling on the industry to unionize. This comes after a year full of mass layoffs and many fearing their jobs will be replaced with AI. It's one of those weird things where these people are doing everything they can do to make their voices heard because they essentially are in danger. We've seen game developers get laid off left and right all throughout this year. I think the total or like estimate of the total layoffs for this year is like 6,000 to 7,000 game devs.
That's
and like, yeah, that's insane. That's so insane. And I think
don't know. I just like he says it'll be addressed in future shows, but like
at least he
oh
responds
no
to
no
it.
no okay no I'm reading too far down. That's about
Yeah.
people getting cut off.
Okay. Yeah. That's something. Yeah. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's totally important, and I totally get the need to like make your voice heard.
I don't know
I
if that was the place to do it. Why not protest outside the job or form a job? You know,
y- I let
you're taking
I
away from your fellow devs' accomplishments where they, you know, rarely get recognized in such a public forum.
I feel like because I'm in my head, I'm trying to create like a comparison. It's like you're upset at your job,
Or
so
the industry.
yeah, you're upset at the industry, so you pick it at like the cafeteria where like all
Yeah.
the devs are together and like talking. It's like I get that, but like you need to affect the people who are making these decisions. So you need to somehow target the CEOs, target the boards who are doing this, make their lives a pain, make them understand what they're doing to essentially you, like the workers. And I feel like targeting the Game Awards is kind of weird because I guess you would have those CEOs show up, be there, but I feel like you also just have way more of the
You're gonna make people dig
developers.
their heels and you know.
Yeah, it just gets weird. Like I don't want to come off as like no, they shouldn't do this because like they got to
I,
protest.
yeah, I'm not saying that they shouldn't protest. It just
Yeah,
I don't know if this was the place to get your
yeah,
opinions
yeah.
heard. As far as AI, you're not gonna be able to stop that.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? I think that's what it is. I don't because you just said like, is this the place to get your opinions heard? And I don't think it is because we didn't hear anything about this until looking
after
at
the
this
fact,
article.
yeah,
Like Jeff Keighley ain't say nothing about this. So it's just like the only people who are going to be affected by this are the people who are literally walking into the Game Awards or walking by the Game Awards and see these people picketing. And it's just like,
yeah.
is that an effective way to get your message across? I don't know. So
I
yeah.
don't have the answers.
Yeah. You don't have the answers, but yeah. But what we do have, oh, that's a terrible, terrible segue. I'm gonna give it a second. That was a second. Hey, what you do have the answers to is subscribing to our channel. You can do that by just subscribing to our channel. It's a little button that says subscribe. You just click on the subscribe button and you've done the thing. Before you do that or after you do that, you can see the like button too, the little thumbs up. We greatly appreciate that. And then you get the notification bell because that will tell you the next time we are doing a thing like this, our weekly podcast that we do weekly. So, yeah. If you're listening to this and you've not seen any of this and you just listen to our voices versus looking at our faces, that's fine, but you can leave us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever podcast service you're using. So just help us out. And then lastly, but not leastly, um, we have a Discord. We have conversations there. We talk about cool things.
Come on
Um,
over.
as Sean says, come on over. You can do that by going to pressx2start.com/Discord. It'll take you right where you need to be, which is with us. All right. Let us finish. It's not finish, but we're getting close to the end of this by talking about the one game this year that released. Day before, guys. The day before joins Overwatch 2 as one of Steam's worst reviewed games after players discover it's not an MMO at all. This comes from Gamesradar by way of Hope Bellingham. So yeah, the day before released in probably the best time it possibly could for this year because it
Nice.
literally
Put it in
released
there.
after the Game Awards, after all the game stuff was talked about, everyone was paying attention to anything else, and they're like, "Oh, just drop the game
Hit the
right now, let's
button.
go." Yes, and as the title says, this thing just released to just massively, massively negative Steam reviews, which it should because every time we released a trailer, there was another trailer saying, like, hey, look, this trailer is actually copying from other games. And
Yeah.
like, well, that's a problem. So, yes, I'm just going to read a little blurb. Survivor MMO the day before has become one of Steam's worst reviewed games, and it's mostly down to the fact that it's suddenly no longer an MMO. On December 7th, developer Fantastic finally released the day before, a game that many thought was never going to see the light of day. It started life at the top of Steam's most wish list, where it stayed for quite a long time, but it's now joining the likes of Overwatch 2 as one of the worst reviewed games on the digital storefront. It didn't take long after its release for the day before to be met with several overwhelmingly negative Steam reviews. In the reviews, players can be seen criticizing the game's lack of open world, poor performance, and most notably, the missing MMO element. This is not it's not an open world MMO. It's a small area extraction shooter. One reviewer writes on Steam. Not an open world, not an MMO, not an open world, another says in their review. So yeah, I sat down and I watched about like 30 minutes of someone playing this game.
You're a brave man.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's not, at least from the stream that I was watching, it's not super buggy. It's not terrible looking. There was like maybe two
Yeah, it
or
looks decent
three
looking.
like yeah, it was like two or three like glitches that happened while the guy was like just walking through.
Mm-hmm.
I think the idea is, and I guess people are pointing to like this is not a massively multiplayer online game. This is very much so a extraction shooter game where you go into the world, you have to collect things, and you bring back the things to your base, and that for at least from what I've seen seems to be the only loop that's happening. You also have a house that you can build and you can like put things in, which is cool. But like, this sucks. This sucks
Hmm.
in that we've seen this game so many times, and every time we're like, "Oh, this is cool looking. Oh, this is cool. This is really like atmospheric." Like I remember one of the trailers, maybe the first trailer that I've seen or saw was when they stopped at the gas station and they went inside to get some stuff, and then something alerted, I think a gunshot alerted the zombies or the infected, and you had to fight the infected. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. Like, this reminds me of like a side story in Walking Dead or whatever. We didn't get none of that. We didn't get none of
Hmm.
that. Do you remember the trailer where they were just driving in mud and you can see the tracks in the mud? There's no mud in this
Yeah,
game.
but yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it in real time as we're talking about it, and it's just like it's
Mhm.
crazy how people apparently are getting silenced in the Discord about how it's a scam. There's a 75% drop in player count 3 days after the game released. People are getting denied refunds, and then somebody
Ooh.
presented a huge list of all the assets. This game was basically an asset flip. They bought a bunch of standard
Oh,
assets off of the Unreal Engine marketplace, and they just, probably did a bunch of recolors and stuff. And
yeah. Wow.
yeah, so they flipped a bunch of
Wow.
assets, slapped the game together, and this is, I mean, but even then, putting it together, they didn't have any story or anything. Like apparently, all the physics is dead. The AI is sucks. Like,
Ugh.
yeah,
Ugh. Jeez. That's rough, man. But like again,
this is
I
something we
think
could have put together.
yeah. Like this is the one thing that I love about this industry is that we have grown up enough to spot the bullshit and be like, ain't no way this is a real thing. And then someone does the work and be like, look, this part of this trailer is from this. These assets look like this thing. And it's just like, you're not going to get away with it. And like, I'm happy I'm sad for all the people who bought this game who can't get the refund. That sucks.
Yeah,
But I'm happy for the people who are just like completely bombing this game for just like justified reasons. Like this game should not have existed. Like
this isn't gonna be the last time that something like this happens again.
no, it's not. Do you remember
Um,
Abandoned? You remember that game that hasn't come
no,
out yet?
no.
So that was a game that people thought was a Kojima game, and the developers were like playing up like it's a Kojima game, and Kojima was like, "This is not my game, guys."
Oh,
Yeah, and
um,
it's of the same vein as this, where it's just like it's not a
well,
real thing, but yeah.
the reason I say this is because making games is way more accessible than before.
Mhm.
People are seeing dollar signs in their eyes because the industry is getting more and more mature, and I feel like we're gonna see a crash. And this is unfortunately just reinforcing why you don't pre-order shit. Like
True. True.
this is rough and this shouldn't have happened, but
Yeah.
it's gonna continue to happen because you got people with money to throw away. I guess
Yeah.
whatever.
You're totally right. You're totally right. Oh
Mm.
man. So yeah, if you were at all thinking about getting the day before, just don't. Just don't at all. Don't even think about it. Like remove that from your brain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number three, in a weird way, since technically this is the third news story. Um, wait. Use items across Fortnite and Rocket League with cross game ownership.
Mm.
This come to us from Fortnite.com by way of the Fortnite team. So I I really want to talk about this whole cross game ownership thing. So okay, with cross game ownership, you okay, with cross game ownership, you own certain car bodies, decals, and wheels in Fortnite if
Mm.
you already own them in Rocket League, and vice versa. Just make sure you're playing Rocket League with the same Epic Games account you play with Fortnite. The number of car bodies, decals, and wheels that are shared between Fortnite and Rocket League will grow over time. That's cool, right?
I'd say this is a win for the Rocket League. What the hell is the name of that? I forget the name of the developers for that. But this is along with the announcement of Rocket Racing in Fortnite. They have a whole new racing mode. They have a mode for Lego Fortnite. There is a Guitar Hero style thing without the funky guitars.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we already had that with games like Amplitude and Frequency and other
Right.
stuff, whatever. But this is interesting, I guess. This is crazy to see the monster that Fortnite has become from being Save the World that just got eventually discontinued. It sucks for the people who bought the game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I must commend Epic on the hard pivot, what they turned Fortnite into. This is crazy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They made a left and it kept going left. And they were like, what
Hmm.
about save the world? They were like, nah, nah. We're doing this right now. But
Yeah.
okay, my question to this,
Hmm.
and I alluded to it at the start of this podcast. Is this possible? Like, is it possible that this could be a step down or like proto NFTs?
Oh,
And
you mean
not
like
NFTs.
carrying your assets or your things, quote unquote, that you own the license to,
Yeah.
bringing it to other games. I mean, if it's coded in Unreal, I guess, then yeah, maybe.
Yeah, like stripping the whole like money side to it. Like you're not making any money off of this. It's not that stupid ape stuff. Like these are assets in game. I even think Ubisoft was trying to do something like that. These are assets in games that quote unquote belong to you. I think the only
Well, I mean,
the
it never belongs to you, but yeah.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah. I think the difference in this is that like these aren't uniquely yours. I don't know if there is any way of editing these like car bodies, decals, or wheels in Rocket League. They don't say. So yeah,
Last I checked, no, you just pick a body and then like all the parts and decals and
right.
toppers and all that stuff.
So yeah, so
I mean, this is
this
the
is cool.
equivalent of like bringing a skin from Apex to Call of Duty type shit.
Right. Okay. So yeah, so this is cool. I just get really worried when you're like, oh, this is a cross game thing. It's like, what what are you doing? What like is it gonna cost? Is it gonna be money time this at some point in the future? But yeah, if it's just like, oh, you've unlocked these things in Rocket League, like, oh, and you get these things in Fortnite, that's cool. But then I think my question is, why don't you just have everything just available in Fortnite? Like,
What's crazy is that you can probably remake Rocket League in Fortnite. So with
for
all this
sure.
Fortnite studio stuff that you can do, we saw some crazy games that I don't know if Epic made those things or other people made those things, but
Yeah.
Fortnite is turning into Roblox, I guess.
Right.
If you remember,
Yeah.
Roblox could do a lot of
Yeah.
crazy stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. So actually, there's another. So there's actually like a pretty long, extensive blog post, which is good because they need to actually explain some of this stuff. One other thing is backup. I can share stuff with Rocket League and Fortnite, and their answer is yes. During Rocket Racing's launch window, the Cyclone and Jaeger 619 bundles are available for V-Bucks in the Fortnite shop. After purchasing one of these bundles in Fortnite, you'll own its contents in Rocket League. Already having them in Rocket League, no, wait, already have them in Rocket League? Question mark. No need to buy them again in Fortnite. So yeah, so this does seem like if you own it in one game, it just automatically unlocks in the other game, which is cool, but like I
It says,
think that gets kind of
I was gonna say, read the next little section. Rocket racing isn't the only way to use cars in Fortnite. So apparently, Fortnite Battle Royale and certain creator-made islands have sports cars that will transform into your car when you get in them. That's pretty cool.
that is pretty cool actually. Yeah, so I think my whole question is, or my only question is like, more people are going to play Fortnite than Rocket League.
hmm
So just make the stuff available in Fortnite. I guess the stuff would be technically available in Fortnite because you just buy it with money, I guess.
hmm Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We'll see. We'll see. I do you okay with all this stuff happening in Fortnite? Do you already have it downloaded, or do you plan on downloading it?
Nope.
Nope.
I mean, it might be on my PlayStation, but I can't tell you the last time I booted it up. So
Yeah. I'm really interested in the whole Lego thing. I think that is
why?
cool. Just to
It's
try it out
literally
for
just
like a
a
week.
skin. It's a skin over Fortnite.
Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yeah, I know. I know. I will see.
Not to discourage you, it is literally just a skin. Like,
No, it's okay. You already discouraged me, Sean. It is just a skin, okay? I just didn't think about it that way. I saw the Lego piece and I thought, oh, cool. Let me download this thing.
every party needs a pooper. That's why they invited me. Party pooper.
All right. That's pretty much for this episode of Gamers Digest. We don't really have anything for what we've been playing because we've been playing Call of Duty. We've been playing them old games that came
Maybe
out
I'll
this
start up
year.
like a Dragon Gaiden this week so I can have something to talk about next. Because I
Mm,
bought it. I've
mm.
just been addicted to goddamn zombies. This shit is amazing.
See, hey man. Are you getting on tonight?
Yes, I'm getting on right now.
I'll be there shortly. I got to figure out what's happening with my family, but other than that, I'll be on there too. All right. So let's end this thing so we can get on with the rest of our night, which is zombies. This has been another episode of Press X Star Gamers Digest. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Trying to hurry up. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed making this episode. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Don't forget, if you are listening to us, please leave a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, uh,
Two
your
cans
mom's
in a cup
phone, 2 cans in a cup,
and a string.
anything anything that you can leave a review on. Yelp, anything. Leave us a review, and we greatly appreciate it. We'll most likely read it too, especially if it's Yelp, because I'd like to know how you got our account on Yelp, because it's definitely not on there. But yeah, do that, please. Thank you. And with that, play games, enjoy each other's companies, and happy holidays. You know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah.
All right, y'all.